Morning, guys. It's Kim. This morning I'm going to do a pretty big bulk meal prep. I am going to make corn chowder. I'm going to make Mexican rice black bean soup. I'm going to make cabbage soup. I'm going to get a pork tenderloin going in the crock pot. And I am going to likely make waffles for the freezer. We are out of waffles for the freezer. I think I've shared all of these recipes on my channel at this point, minus the pork tenderloin, which is just a pre-marinated pork tenderloin, and I'm going to put a little bit of stock and put it in the crock pot to cook all day until it's done, probably a couple of hours. But that'll give a meal for later. And I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about being an ingredient household. You've heard that term thrown around, I'm sure. And one of the reasons why I do meal preps like this and why we are, I say, primarily an ingredient household, is because we have different likes, dislikes, and different dietary needs or wants, I guess. Two of us don't eat meat, and one of us doesn't prefer vegetables. So I try and make meal options that are available in the refrigerator at all times, because it just simply helps to cut the fast food run, which nobody can afford right now. So I find that if we have a lot of different things available, we eat healthier, it costs less, and it's just overall a better option. There are some health issues going on in our house, and we have found that by becoming an primary ingredient household, it has helped. Now, I need to be honest with you. If fast food wasn't expensive and bad for you, I'd be eating Taco Bell just about every day of my life. But those recipes are easily recreated as well. So to get started on this massive meal prep, I'm going to get, again, the crock pot's going, the corn chowder is going because that's going to take the longest. And then I'm going to start pulling out vegetables for the cabbage soup. That doesn't take a long time, but it's got a lot of ingredients and a lot of chopping involved. And when I say ingredient-based household, I'm not talking everything has to be pulled straight from the garden, although that would be amazing. I'm using canned items as well. And what I mean by ingredient-based is I'm taking some base ingredients and repurposing them in just as many different ways as I can, because I know we like these things. I'm trying to put them together to make different meal options in the best way that I can for the family. So what I did there, this is going to be the Mexican black bean rice soup, and a can of corn, a can of black beans, a can of diced tomatoes, some rice, one of those instant rice cups, not a great unprocessed food, but it's something that I have that I need to use up from a prior purchase, so I'm putting that in there. I have some leftover black beans from dinner 2 days ago that I'm going to use up. And then I'm going to season it with taco seasoning, some onion powder, I will put some pepper in. I will salt it at the end. This is diced onion, dried, and then water. Just bring it to a simmer for 20 minutes. It's that easy. This will provide 6 or 7 servings. So now I'm going to get the cabbage roll soup together. I have onion and oil in a large pot. And I prepped the onion a couple months ago, so I just pulled frozen onion that was diced out of the freezer, and we're gonna let that start to cook. Now, the cabbage roll soup, I made a video about this before. It has a ton of ingredients, but it's really good, and it reheats well, it's hearty, and this recipe makes about 8 adult servings. So once you have all the ingredients prepped for this, it just kind of really comes together fairly quickly. So I've got carrots that are diced up, a bunch of cabbage, and I have all my ingredients laid out. That's also another way to save time when you are doing bulk cooking, is if you get the ingredients laid out, you're not running back and forth looking for things. So that's really helpful. So I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, and it's jarred garlic. Everything doesn't have to be, like I said, pulled from the garden, which would be nice. We just don't use enough garlic in our house to do something like that, to grow garlic though. I'm going to add in my carrots. And give that a stir. And then just start adding in as I go through the recipe. So in roughly 45 minutes, I've got Mexican style black bean soup. I've got corn chowder. I've got cabbage roll soup and a pork tenderloin in the crock pot. Now the mess, on the other hand, is, you know, something else, but honestly that should only take about 15 minutes. This will provide multiple days of refrigerator-based meals to reheat for the entire family. Something to consider if you have an extra hour, or let me rephrase that, if you can find an extra hour, that it would be very valuable to your family. Have a good day, everyone.